just a little bit about tonight. You guys obviously take the early lead. Could you talk a little bit about that second period when you guys were able to get those 3 quick goals and blow this thing open?
Yeah, I mean, it started with Schmidt's goal, and then we got the power play there, and kind of quick goals there. But I think overall we were solid today and did a lot of good things. So I like most of our game.
And Nate, just your first goal, the joy on your face, we could see it from the press box, and then you get the second one. Just a little bit about how you've really worked your way into this team and to be such a big part of a big opening night win.
Yeah, you know, this team at the beginning of the year for me, you just want to step in and not screw it up, and then you start to integrate yourself into this group and find how you bring your own brand to the game. And for me, you know, Benny makes a great play taking that puck to the net in the second period. Anytime he's got the puck on his stick, something good usually happens. So you find out in games when you can jump in and find a chance when you can jump around a forward and be a part of the rush. And then, you know, Lucy makes a great play trying to get to the net, causes some chaos, and it squirts out to me. So, and then this guy later on, Nick makes a nice little moving screen. So it's not just the end result. There's a lot of things that go into it, and I kind of like to think that's the way our game was tonight. You know, there wasn't just the end result of us scoring. There were a lot of things that went into it. You know, a lot of forecheck routes by our guys that created turnovers that made it hard for their defensemen to get it to their forwards, and that's what I think needs to happen for us moving forward to be successful.
For both of you guys, we all know the impact that Matthew Tkachuk can make, but just what kind of spark did he give you guys, especially after being without him for a couple months?
I've talked enough about him.
Okay.
So you can.
Okay. He's not really a guy you can put a label on, right? Because he's such a unicorn of a player. But I think more than anything, just how he is in the room, you know, getting the guys fired up before the game. You feel his energy, you feel his excitement in the locker room. And I think it takes the edge off of guys quite a bit. The edge off of guys to be vocal, the edge off guys to, the things he says before, the game to keep the room light. And, I think that's the kind of thing that doesn't show up all the time. But you see him be able to step into a game and be impactful. That's just the way he is. And I mean, that's the type of player he is. He's a playoff player that, comes into a game and does what he does tonight.
For Nate, the game you had tonight, given sort of how you got to this point, just reflect on sort of that journey and getting here and what you did tonight.
Yeah, no, thank you. There's a long way to South Florida, right? And I find that for me, it was the one thing I heard about this team, and how they treat each other and how they, take the everyday look at it is something that I coveted, since I've, haven't seen something like this since my years in Vegas, right? Like the type of gel within a team and to say I wasn't nervous to come in at the very beginning of the year, it would be wrong, because I was. You never know how you're going to be able to help a team like this. But I find that this team, with the personalities that they have and the game style that the standard that we have, it doesn't even have to come from the staff. It comes from the bench. It comes from the guys on the team, and that allows a new player and the handful of us that came this year to assimilate very easily. And I find that it makes such a difference, because when guys are comfortable in the room, they're comfortable on the ice and they start to talk, and then the bench starts to run itself, and that's when you start to feel like you're a part of a team, part of a group, and a part of a new year, right? Like, these guys did an amazing thing last year and looking to, write a new story with it again.
I mean, when you guys played Tampa 3 years ago, Sasha, you guys only scored 3 goals on Andrei Vasilevskiy, and then this year you already scored 6 in game 1 by kind of getting the body in front of him. I mean, what did you learn from that series on how to deal with a guy like Andrei Vasilevskiy, and kind of what's changed now that you guys have been able to put together a performance like that today?
Well, first of all, like, he's one of the best goalies in the world, like, since he came in the league. So, you're not probably just gonna beat him with the clean shot. many times. So you have to create stuff in front of him and get guys to the net, battle for the rebounds and that kind of stuff. So. And it goes to all the good goalies and all the good teams. Like, it's not easy to get there, but you have to, especially in the playoffs. It's hard, but you have to find a way to get in front of the net and battle for those pucks and get in front of him. So that's our job every single game we play, and doesn't change in this series.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I know you didn't like the question about flipping a switch or, getting back to the way you guys look, but it certainly looked like the Panthers were back tonight.
At times, it's a hard game to assess, George. Just the power play goals. There wasn't enough 5-on-5 game to get a great handle or a feel for it, but yeah, happy with the result. I'm going to have to watch the game hard to get a handle on the game, because it kind of just, I don't have a theme for it. Usually I get off the bench, not always, but I have a pretty good handle on the theme of the game, what happened, where we were good, where we need to do some work. But the risk profiles changes so drastically at 5-1 that you start to see things that you don't normally see. So, I'm glad we won the game. I think we handled it reasonably well. I'll focus more on the first 30 minutes of that game for kind of answers to where the game goes next. That'll be kind of the idea.
It didn't seem like you guys were able to take momentum. How big is that in an opening of a playoff series to come on the road and to be able to kind of take the crowd out of it and get those, especially with those 3 goals in the second?
Yeah, don't mean to be a downer here, but I'm not a huge believer in momentum. Really not. Puck drops. That's your opportunity to change momentum, and it's going to happen at the opening face-off. I don't. Both teams will look at the game and find things they can do better. Some of it will be just special teams. But there isn't an established identity to the series yet. It was an unusual game in the flow of it. Road team scores the first goal. We get 2 then. Still not a lot of action in the game. There wasn't a lot of danger in the game at that point. Gets to 2-1 for the next 2 or 3 shifts. I don't love. All right, they're humping now, but that's completely to be expected at home. Getting into the second, they lose Cirelli. Power play clicks. It's an unusual game. There'll be a complete reset by both teams for the next one.
Paul, in addition to what he was able to do in terms of scoring, what impact emotionally did Matthew Tkachuk's return bring to you guys?
I think what was on display was the hands. They're just, he's got an incredible set of hands. I thought his game was okay. I don't think it was, when you put it in the context, he hasn't played a hockey game in 2 months. I mean, he'd be, you or I wouldn't have any hands in that game. For him, he can still take that much time off and handle a puck the way he handles it. And the rest of it was just smartly played by him, in that I don't think he was in the rhythm of the game. But I was very happy with Mackey and Sam Bennett. I thought they played a really smart, kind of hard game and allowed Matthew to kind of get reacclimated to the game.
Paul, physicality is a big part of who you want to be and the identity of your team. I think that
you got to wait. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Sorry, it took me a one eye. I got one eye. Just keep that in mind.
I was trying to.
No, it was good. Yeah.
I think the hit totals finished 48-28. Take those for what they are. But how much do you think your physical part of the game had an impact on this game?
I didn't find it to be that physical a game. So there's been a shift, right, in how they're marked. The hits are marked, so we're getting bigger numbers. But I'll go back to our history. 2 years ago, Game 1 in Boston, I think there were 86 hits, and every single one of them was heavy. Like it was, you walked off the bench, and I'd never been in a game that heavy. We played 13 games against them in the last 2 years, and they were incredibly physical. I did not find tonight to be a physical game. There were a couple of big hits, right? Going both ways, but there wasn't, some of that's, you're not hitting when you're on the power play or you're penalty killing. Like that kind of changed it. I didn't feel it from the bench. There wasn't, I guess when you look at physicality, it's physicality in it, how it affects the momentum of the game. I didn't feel that. There was the Verhaeghe hit. That was a heavy, but there wasn't a succession of shift after shift where both teams are just forechecking. Nothing happens with the puck, but everybody's getting hit. I didn't feel that tonight.
Coach, what do you think of Mackey's first playoff game and getting
right?
a point tonight?
Want him to have the confidence to drive on that puck before he throws it into Sam. I thought he didn't look like he was touching the puck and then holding it, looking to give it out, right? Like he would skate with it, he would move. What I was looking for was just legs, and I thought his legs were good tonight. I really liked that part of it for him.